our August newsletter, we're going to discuss digestion this month specifically. Let's talk about your guts, how we digest, what's good, what's going to help our brain in that process. And I'm here with Katie and Aaron from the NeuroTrain Collaborative. We're going to give you some good information. And then in addition, of course, we've got our online resources and classes for you to join too. So we hope you'll keep that in mind as we go along. So digestion, I love food. Like, let's talk about food because I love to eat. So what I know is that some foods make my tummy happy and some foods make it sad. Why is that? How does that work? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I think so. One thing that comes up for me with digestion is how much of a role it plays in the health of everything else in our body. And so our digestive system is where we absorb nutrients. It's where we get rid of waste and toxins. It impacts, I think you guys have heard this before, but we have like millions of neurons just in the gut lining by itself. So it's another area of the body where there's almost as many neurons as what's in the cortex. So there's we hear about the gut as a second brain, and there's all these different ideas about maybe we had the gut brain first and then we grew the cortex, and there's a lot of really cool stuff to kind of know about that. But one thing to know is, especially as we're going back into the school season, your gut health directly impacts your immune health. So to keep your immunities up through the fall, you want a healthy functioning gut because it does directly impact our immune system. It's also where most of our inflammation lives. Serotonin, that's where the majority of the serotonin also lives, is in our gut. And so our ability to digest food well actually directly impacts our ability to think well, to have high cognitive function. And depression and high gut serotonin are usually synonymous with one another.
And that may be something new to you. So if you're just joining us now, if you're not familiar with the direction we head with metabolics, you may be thinking right now, wait, I've been told my whole life serotonin is good and I want more serotonin. And serotonin is the happy drug that our body creates. It's not necessarily true. It's not what the science actually tells us. And to be very honest, we just don't know enough. Science does not know enough yet about serotonin to really know how it works. But the more you sort of dig into this, the more serotonin in the gut especially is not a really great thing for you. It's associated with skin dysfunctions and depression, anxiety, all sorts of things that we don't really want. And so lowering gut serotonin is a really helpful way to start getting your metabolism going in the right direction, help your mood, help your sleep, do a lot of things for you that are going to increase your health overall, that just make it easier to be you, to go out into your life and do the things that you want to do, and increase your immunity while you do it. Since I've been going after serotonin and histamine specifically in my gut, I've been doing this for maybe 8 or 9 years now and slowly meandering. So, I'm still not exactly where I want to be 8 or 9 years in, and it's a moving target. But I've noticed so many things improve that I just thought would take longer or would take medication to fix long term. It's not really the case. I sleep well. I eat mostly what I want to eat as far as, clean eating. I feel good about it. I'm still not doing everything I can, but all the issues I've had over my life, probably 95% of them have cleared up in the last 8 years. And that's incredible. Like, I'm really happy with that. And it's things that I never thought were ever associated with gut health or anything else that I could or couldn't do right. And it's a really good feeling.
One thing that I want to plug in here is that the chemical serotonin as a chemical is actually something that is produced in the animals that are hibernating for the winter. So serotonin actually does slow down metabolism and metabolic function and puts animals into a hibernative state, which is not a deep rest state. It is actually more of like just functioning at the bare minimum level, so that you don't starve through the winter. Like that's what that chemical actually does. And so the idea that serotonin was the happiness hormone or chemical is actually not accurate. It is more of a numbing kind of chemical, and it puts you more into like a lower brain ATP state. There's been studies that show that I think an increase in serotonin by 10% actually decreases brain ATP by 30%. Most degenerative diseases they're finding, there's like synonymous with high polyunsaturated fatty acids, and then also high serotonin, and that's actually what is slowing down and degenerating that brain function. So those are just some things to know. High serotonin can also look like spider veins and varicose veins, along with high estrogen, fibrotic tissue, trigger finger, things like that. Fibrosis, lung issues are directly connected to high histamine and high serotonin. So when we're doing stuff like eating fibers that are healthy and easy to digest, but also bind to endotoxins, serotonin, and estrogen, and pull things out of our gut, like carrots, cooked mushrooms, bamboo shoots, coconut flakes, it helps us actually absorb food better and get rid of that high endotoxic load that is increasing the inflammatory stuff in the body. And it's helping with brain function. It's also helping with lung function, and that directly correlates to better focus, better attention, better mood, sharper cognitive stuff as well.
And a
That,
pretty big
go
decrease.
back in that. Go back in that and watch that again.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
it's
was
super
gold.
important. I want to tag on to that and just include, if you're joining us because you have chronic pain, this applies to you as well. That was me for a very long time. Chronic pain, chronic injuries, a lot of aches, sprains are pretty heavily correlated with this as well. So if you're joining us from that side of things, this is really important for you to either watch over again or join us in our classes, or we twice a month on Wednesday nights, we have a metabolic Q&A. You're more than welcome to come with all of your questions and be like, I didn't get it. How is this different than everything I've read before? And we can provide you with lots and lots and lots of resources, peer-reviewed journal articles, books, podcasts, whatever your brain is able to take in best. We can help you find those resources that you can better understand why we're saying this.
Totally. And one last little plug I'll talk about with serotonin. It is part of what we call the stress hormone cascade. So high serotonin synergizes high estrogen, synergizes high histamine, and that synergizes adrenaline and cortisol. And then the opposite, when we start talking about things like thyroid and progesterone and pregnenolone and DHEA, those also synergize with one another. So in the stress hormone cascade, what happens is our cells get entered into what's called an excitatory state, which means that they're about to die off, and they're trying to either create as much activity as possible to stay alive and rapidly divide. That's where we get swelling and things like that. But for insomniacs, if you struggle with sleep, which is where we learn the most, by the way, sleep is absolutely crucial to improving our learning and integrating skills that we learn throughout the day. If you have trouble with sleep, that is a chronic marker of low metabolic function, high stress, right? And serotonin plays a significant role in that. So especially at night with the melatonin increasing because of the darkness coming into the room, and your eyes are adjusting to that, there's all these chemical things that are happening that can affect those things. So again, the healthier your gut is, the better you absorb things, the less stressful sleep and darkness becomes, and the more benefits you get out of that rest period in the evening, where you can integrate and get rid of inflammation and different things like that. So.
Well, this has been a really very holistic view into digestion, which covered like a lot of things that I don't think many people associate really with digestion. And the truth is, we are exactly what we eat, and we want those things to benefit us in all ways. And we don't want to put things in our gut that create any kind of stress at all. And these concepts can be really, really new for people who are coming from a point of view that where you need to create a good microbiome by taking a lot of probiotics. And that's not what we are advocating. There's so much to the story that it's a good long learning process that you can make a change in instantly. So that's why we're looking forward to talking with you more about all of our digestion needs. And of course, let's talk about food like ice cream and how good that is at the start of the school year. And in August, we need more ice cream in our lives. So we look forward to seeing you at our classes this month.
Yes, check us out. Thanks, ladies.